Hey everybody, Mike Slifer here in the First Alert Forecast Center, bringing you another First Alert Weather Extra. We certainly have a lot to dive into here, from the smoke, when it all finally moves out, what's going on in the tropics, and perhaps the return of some 90-degree days. We're going to cover it all here in our First Alert Weather Extra. We'll begin with our air quality alert, which continues until 11 p.m. throughout most of Connecticut. All of this smoke is thanks to these wildfires that are burning. And I wanted to take the time to address something here on this graphic. Unfortunately, the icons don't scale to the actual size of the fires, but we're focused on the ones in Canada, which are being caught up in the jet stream. The smoke is being caught up in the jet stream, which dips down over New England, but we will see some changes tomorrow, which will help to bring that smoke away from us. We've been watching air quality improve through the Naugatuck Valley. Most of New Haven County now in a much better position, and certainly eastern Connecticut. So it's really, say, Haddam points north along the Connecticut River, up through Tolland County and into Litchfield County, where we still have a bit of an issue with air quality. But we are improving. It'll take a little time. We see even better air quality through the greater Boston area and into parts of Rhode Island. And that's what we're really focused on here, because our wind direction has shifted. We've had this boundary nearby. It's a very slow-moving cold front. You could argue that it should even be a stationary front here on this map, but it's giving us a bit of an easterly wind direction as high pressure starts to drop out of Canada. So ahead of that, the easterly wind is going to help to kick the smoke out of Connecticut. So this is the pre-dawn hours tomorrow. Big improvements throughout the morning, and we might see a couple of plumes that try to work their way through, but in general we will see less smoke overall, especially by tomorrow evening. So hopefully we will be done talking about the smoke for the rest of the week. It would be nice certainly to get a bit of a break, be able to breathe a little easier. Our ICAM view in Rocky Hill, looking north to the Hartford skyline right now. We can actually pick out the building, something we couldn't do earlier in the day, and we'll take you live to show you what it looks like from our capital city. This is looking live over downtown Hartford. We can see part of the Gold Building. We can see the top of the Travelers Tower, and we're looking to the east out toward the Connecticut River and East Hartford. And in the distance, everything looks sort of grayish and obscured, and that's not fog. That is still smoke that we see. Here's a live look at our iCam in Torrington. We're zoomed in here on the Warner Theater. If you missed our story on that earlier this evening on Eyewitness News, totally worth checking out. Really, really interesting little tidbit we did on the history there. Very cool story. But things are not quite as visible, we'll say, in parts of northwestern Connecticut. Here's our iCam view in Waterbury, where the air quality is improving. Visibility is picked up. We can actually see Holy Land right now. Our iCam view in Windsor Locks, again, it looks like there's precip falling. There is no precip falling. It is dry. It's just the smoke is that thick still in parts of Connecticut. We'll take you down to the shoreline now. Here's our iCam view in New London, where there wasn't really much smoke to begin with today. How about a live look at our iCam in New Haven, overlooking parts of the Yale campus? 76 degrees in the Elm City right now. We can see Harkness Tower, and in the distance, everything just sort of gets obscured. It's gray. That is the smoke. We made it to 83 today, so that's 5 days so far into the month of August. Not a single day above average yet. And when it comes to rainfall, we are certainly in perhaps need of some rain, particularly in the southern parts of the state. It'd be nice to get a little bit of rain here, but our First Alert 7-day forecast, well, we'll show you what we're thinking over the next 7 days. Much more on that in just a moment. High temperatures today for many towns were between 80 and 85 degrees, and we saw some upper 70s mixed in southeastern Connecticut with that persistent wind coming off the relatively cooler waters. Temperatures statewide in the low and mid 70s right now. And that's sort of a preview of what we see across the Northeast. Boston, Portland, onshore wind, a little bit cooler. But otherwise, we've watched temperatures catch up to areas to our east. Remember, that is the source for our air right now, so it is going to make it feel a bit cooler at times. Dew points, on the other hand, still a little muggy out there. Dew points in the mid, even upper 60s. We do expect these numbers to come down a bit overnight. Putnam, for example, down to 62. That's something that's showing us the direction we'll be moving in, as that's the way that our air is coming in. It'll just take a little bit of time, but it does allow temperatures to fall into generally the lower 60s across northwestern Connecticut. Now, throughout the greater Hartford area, we're expecting low and mid 60s. Granby, 60 tonight. Windsor, New Britain, Glastonbury, for example, 64. In the quiet corner, we might even start to mix in some upper 50s. Some of the newest data suggesting some upper 50s are at play. So your first alert that you might get a little bit of a break from the muggier weather and the warmer nights. Even Jewett City, 59 tonight, 62 Niantic, and 60 in Salem. We're forecasting 64 in Old Saybrook, 65 in Madison, 62 in Haddam and Durham. 65 in Wallingford, 67 Milford and Brantford. So a little bit milder in the greater New Haven area and points southwest toward Bridgeport. Connecticut's only live radar, First Alert Live Radar, continues to scan clear and dry. It is dry across the state. We don't have any showers to track, and First Alert Futurecast shows that will be the case overnight tonight. Let this run basically for the next 24 hours. No shower chances, plenty of cloud cover. So that's where things are a little bit different. That does mean that with the wind out of the east tomorrow, which we've already established will be our wind direction, and increased cloudiness, highs will likely only end up between about 75 and 80 degrees. In spite of the clouds, partly to mostly cloudy, we do not see any chances for showers. So if you want to spend time outdoors, get some yard work done, mow the lawn, go golfing, whatever you want to do, should be good to go. Here's the air quality index forecast for tomorrow. Still not good air quality, but moderate, an improvement over where we were today, and smoke should be less visible overall, and we just deal with the clouds instead. Now, as we progress through the day, we'll be watching high pressure drop out of Canada. It takes its time, but by the time it actually makes its way into the Gulf of Maine, it ensures that we see brighter weather for Thursday. So we'll begin the day Thursday with some lingering cloudiness, but as the day goes on, we become mostly sunny. Look at this progression. High temperatures Thursday likely topping out in the low 80s, a few degrees below average for this time of year. And that's all thanks to that east-northeast wind. So it does help to keep us dry. It also means dew points will drop back down, going down into the pleasant range Thursday and staying there Friday, Saturday. It's not until Sunday where they slowly start to tick back up. And as we progress through the remainder of the week, we have our eyes set on Friday, August 8th, because that will be our final 8 p.m. sunset of the year. On August 16th, the sunrise is back in the 6 a.m. hour, and by September 15th, a little over a month away, sunset 7 p.m. September 16th, sunset back in the 6 o'clock hour. So we are watching daylight start to, we're losing daylight more rapidly, maybe a more appropriate way to phrase it. We're watching the rate of change increase. So in other words, we're losing daylight more quickly. And we lose daylight in the month of September 2 to 3 minutes per day. And then it starts to slow down through November and into December as we approach the winter solstice. And of course, it will start to reverse as we get into the start of 2026. So in that same line of thought, the average high temperature starts to fall too. Average high still 85 degrees, and it will be 85 through Friday. Average high on Saturday, 84. By the end of the month, 81. By September 2nd, average high is 80 degrees. On September 29th, the average high falls to 70. And by October 24th, the average high falls to 60 degrees. We don't see anything quite that cool in our forecast. First Alert 7-day forecast here, very dry, very dry. 80 tomorrow. Lots of cloud cover, 81 Thursday, increasing sunshine, 83 Friday, 86 Saturday, 88 on Sunday, back into the low 90s inland Monday and Tuesday. Also turning muggier Sunday through Tuesday, and we'll start to see clouds build back in. Look at those overnight temps, though, 62 tomorrow night, 57 Thursday night, 59 on Friday night. So really some comfortable air out there. 79 at the shoreline tomorrow, back up to 80 on Thursday, 81 Friday, and then back to near 90, if not actually reaching 90 by Tuesday next week. Tropical Storm Dexter no longer being tracked by the National Hurricane Center, and it just keeps on moving away from us, completely out to shore, no impacts to us here in Connecticut. So we'll show you the overview of the tropics here because there are a couple of interesting things to point out. The disturbance that the National Hurricane Center was tracking off the Carolina coast yesterday now has a medium chance of actually becoming a named system here in the next 7 days. The other thing to point out is that tropical wave coming off of Africa is about to move into a very favorable area when it comes to sea surface temperatures, actual ocean heat content to develop. So we'll have to see just how much it can really strengthen, but the National Hurricane Center continues to point it out to be a medium chance of formation in the next 7 days, becoming a named system. We've gone through Andrea, Barry, Chantal, and Dexter. So next up on the list, Aaron, followed by Fernand and Gabrielle. We'll continue, of course, to watch, and we'll be the first to alert you should anything develop. Not really feeling tropical here anytime soon. Even next week, those muggy, the muggy that you see there Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, dew points really likely in the 60s, so not the 70s, that truly tropical feeling air that we have seen several times this summer. It will make those temperatures in the upper 80s and lower 90s feel just a little bit warmer. Should we start to see a greater heat risk developing, we'll be the first to alert you, of course, but at this point in time, it does look like it will be fairly manageable. It is worth mentioning, though, that this pattern does not really show any signs of slowing down. Quickly want to show you the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook here. This brings us from next Tuesday into next Friday or Saturday, and these deep shades of red indicate the high likelihood that temperatures remain above average. So if we can string together 3 days at or above 90 next week, we could have our fourth heat wave of 2025 in the books. We'll be watching that too. This is another First Alert Weather Extra. You can join us in the Wax in 20 minutes and on Channel 3 tonight at 11. Join Jill Gilardi back here streaming live on WFSB Plus at 8 a.m. and, of course, through all our morning newscasts and again at noon. Have a great night, everybody, and we will see you over on the Wax in 20 minutes.